All right. I want to say thank you to everybody too, but we don't have to spend too much time doing that because we've already given thanks to people. But I'd like to thank all the people in the community that loaned the ladders for the project. It's really a project about the community as much as it is about the ladders, and certainly as much as it is about the artists. So thank you to all of you, including SECCA and Old Salem and the Arts Council and everybody that's made it possible. I'm going to start with kind of some of the early work that I did as an artist to talk about ladders just a little bit, and then kind of bring you up to date to the current project. This is about 1992, and this is a installation I did in Arlington, Virginia called Going Places. And in the background there, you see over the top of the figure's head, the peak of the roof of a building with a hand holding a paintbrush on it. And part of our Rise Up Salem project is inviting people to tell ladder stories. And the inspiration for me adding that to this kind of project is that I've also written some of my own ladder stories. And here's one that explains a little bit of my beginnings. It's called Transformed. My father did not like heights, so he offered me my first real paying job beyond the weekly allowance for doing the regular expected things around the house. It took me all summer to finish painting the house and collect my $100. I started at the peak, at the high peak on the second story on the north side of the house. Mom and Dad were down below watching me as I began climbing up the ladder. I reached up to the top, and we had a hook on the ladder to hang the bucket of paint and my brush, and I hung it on that hook, but I missed. The paint bucket's life flashed before its eyes as it shot to the ground, erupting into a white shower that hung suspended in the air for a moment before transforming the green yard below me. For one very long moment, my parents and I and the world stood still. We were transformed. The hand reaching up there was literally taken from that experience. That's why I included it in that installation. In subsequent years, I started using the ladder more and more often. It started one day, I was painting houses. I was in graduate school. I was teaching high school art. So for summer income, I worked as a house painter. And I was also enrolled in graduate school in a sculpture program. So I needed to make sculptures, and I'm standing on the ladder one day, and I think, maybe I'll put a ladder in a sculpture. And so I did that, but like the way artists work is that once they do something, it becomes something to reflect on. So what about, am I going to do that again? Why would I do that again? What are ladders all about? And that led me to thinking a lot about, you know, what kind of symbolism might be associated with ladders. I started to feel an identity with what I wanted to become as an artist and a person that was attached to that the ladder symbol. I'll show you just a series without too much comment on them of, you know, what some of these things looked like. This was called Tribute to the Ladder Carriers. Me thinking that anybody that carries a ladder in a symbolic way is somebody that's doing something constructive and good. And so I wanted to make a monument to whoever was involved with doing that. There's some outdoor sculptures. Some indoor pieces. I'm going to try something, Michael. I hope this works. This little X, do you think that'll make that control bar go away? No. No? We don't know. Okay, we're gonna not mess with it. We're fortunate enough to get the images in the right order here. This was a piece called Glory Land. These are smaller sculptures. This is about 2 feet high. This figure that you see in there carrying a suitcase appears quite often in my work. I usually call him a pilgrim. This one is titled, "The Higher He Climbed, the Smaller He Became." This one is a book on transcendence called Somewhere Else, and it has the ladder as a bookmark. This one was based on the story of Jacob's ladder. He's resting his head, Jacob is resting his head on a rock, and there's also the title of a song by Blind Willie Johnson, a very early blues gospel singer, called "Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground." And it's one very powerful piece of music. It was one of the pieces of music that was put on a gold disc and sent into outer space for someone else in some other time in universe to come across, along with other things that both scientists and artists included, on that disc. But Blind Willie Johnson's song is on that. So I dedicated this piece to him and Jacob. My daughter, my oldest daughter and I, Jennifer Collins is her name, she's a painter, and we do collaborative works. And this was for commission for a church in Blacksburg, Virginia. And it's titled, "This is the Day." It was made for a library room that they were redoing, and they wanted a central piece of artwork in it. Jennifer's work is the painting, and mine is the construction that goes on top of the painting or over the painting, and the dozens of ladders that rise up over the landscape there. The idea of borrowing is something I wanted to say something about, and I'm going to just advance through some of these other ladder-related works to get to that point. I did a series of sculptures on these little shelves, made 100 ladders, and it was titled "Making 100 Ladders Will Teach Me More About Transcendence." I made it that series right after writing in a sketchbook, okay, I don't need to make any more ladders now. I think I'll just do other things. It'll become like a crutch, and that will be the only thing I can do is sculptures with ladders in them. Then a few days later, I wrote in my sketchbook, maybe if I made 100 ladders, I'd learn more about transcendence. So I did, and there were about 34, 35 shelves, and each of them contained a number of ladders, and we just flashed through some of those. But this is the last one. It's this ladder in his wood shop making other ladders.